let's talk about all of the domestic cues that you should track, as well as some of the stocks that could be in focus in today's trading session. We have Rima and Surbi joining us now with the trade setup. Rima, we were just going through the global setup, which definitely seems a little bit weak ahead of that key decision due tonight. But take us through everything we should watch.
Indeed. So the Indian markets need to react to 2 days of, global markets. So on Monday, the Dow was down 200 points, while yesterday the Dow was down a little more than 100 points. So net, in the past 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, the Dow was down close to about 1%, the S&P 500 lower by 1%, and the Nasdaq has sold off 1.8%. So those are the cues, global cues, that we need to contend with. Well, part of the weakness did play out for the Indian markets even in Monday's trade, as the markets after a range-bound session did ultimately close lower by the close of trade. Two important things we need to track. One, oil prices. Now, oil prices briefly almost went to the $96 per barrel. The high was 95.96. It settled below 95 on profit booking, but oil prices have risen and now stand at a 10-month high. Secondly, the Fed decision, as you pointed out. We've been talking about it. We heard Steve Leisman. So just let me tell you the timeline. At 11:30 p.m. tonight, the Fed decision will be known. And at 12 o'clock, we will hear the Fed chairman speak. In Monday's trade for the Indian markets, the Nifty did end with modest cuts, and keep your eye on the broader market, because the mid and the small cap universe underperformed to some extent, and the advanced decline ratio was also negative. In terms of flows, the FIs net sold 1,236 crore, while the DIIs net bought 552 crore in the cash market on Monday. Back to you.
All right, Rima, thanks a lot for running us through all of those cues. But let's also talk about the individual stocks that could be in focus in today's trading session. We have Surbi here with that entire list. Hi, Surbi.
Hi, Pavitra. So first one on my list is Tata Motors. The company is going to hike prices of its commercial vehicles up to 3% from October 1st. Next is HDFC Bank. Now, the company hosted a sell-side analyst meet and presented the impact of the merger on the P&L and the book value per share. So they say the impact on the net interest margin will be tad bit higher than expected, and the net worth impact will be of 5%, which is mostly non-cash and transitional in nature. So that will be on our radar. Blue Star, the company launches a QIP to raise up to 1,000 crores with a floor price of 785 rupees per share. Biocon, Peter Baines is appointed as the Biocon Group Chief Executive Officer with effect from September 18th. Amber Enterprises, the company forms a JV with Nextbase for manufacturing and designing of wearables. And lastly, NBCC, the company gets a work order of 150 crores from Khadi and Village Industries Commission.
All right, Surbi, we are going to watch for all of these stocks in today's trading session. Thanks for running us through that list. Finally, it's over to Nigel, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Nigel, looks like the start will be lower, but take us through what we should watch.
Well, morning, Pavitra. Good to have you back here in Mumbai. Well, yes, the start is going to be lower. And in Monday's trading session, you had both the Nifty and the Nifty Bank that ended virtually at the low point of the day. And HDFC Bank, for me, that's going to be the big stock of the day. Remember, in Monday's trading session as well, it ended at the low point of the day. And importantly, the takeaways from the analyst as well as from the analyst call, as well as the presentation that they put out, was a bit of a dampener. So let's see how much of the bad news is in the price. That starts off on the back foot. But from there, what happens is going to be crucial from a market perspective. In Monday's trading session, you had unwinding of positions both on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank. So there were no fresh shots that got taken into the system. And the FI as well, they did just that. They unwound mostly long positions, and they continue to remain net long, with the long positioning at close to around 65%. What are the options data suggesting? I'm looking at the Nifty options data. You have the highest open interest added on the 20,200 call, as well as on the 20,100 put. So just plugging in those numbers out there, the 20,100 put, the premium's roughly around 50-60 rupees odd. That's telling you that the 20,040, 20,050 odd level, the bulls would like to defend that on a closing basis. On the upside, though, since you have the premium at around the 20,200 call at around 90 rupees odd, at around 20,290 and 20,300, that becomes a bit of a resistance zone. But today you have the Nifty Bank that plays out its weekly expiry, so that's going to be very, very important. And you had signs of writing at the 46,100, 46,200 call at both those two strikes. So you have a bit of a resistance zone at around the 46,300 odd mark. On the downside, though, the 46,000 put, well, that has the highest open interest. So on a closing basis, the bulls will want to defend that 45,700 odd mark. So let's see how this goes. For starters, it's opening up in the slot, down close to under 100 points. And as I said earlier, HDFC Bank holds the key for today's session. Back to you.
All right, Nigel, thanks a lot for running us through all of those cues. Like Nigel was pointing out, 100 points lower is where we're at for, where the open could be. But with that, it is time for a short break. When we return, the Parliament officially begins business in the new building. The government tables the Women's Reservation Bill in the Lok Sabha. We're going to bring you all of the details on that very important story when we come back.